Hey everyone, this is James Moffett with Liberty and Gun Rights Podcast. I'm going to be sharing a video with you here shortly. It's Mark Lynch for U.S. Senate. He was interviewed again on a local television station, I think in the upstate of South Carolina. He's a Christian, U.S. veteran, and a business owner. So anyway, he's going after Lindsey Graham's seat in the U.S. Senate, and I think he's a good candidate. And so listen to the video and stay tuned to Facebook. I'll be uploading a Facebook event, public event. He's going to be in Charleston, or actually in Summerville, South Carolina, on October the 30th. The venue has yet to have been set. So once that is set and I have an official flyer, then you'll see it on Facebook. If you're my friend on Facebook. Check me out, James Moffett, on Facebook. All right. Enjoy the video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Our You Decide coverage continues tonight. Upstate businessman Mark Lynch is now running for U.S. Senate. The owner of Jeff Lynch Appliances is challenging Lindsey Graham in the GOP primary. And over the last few weeks, we've sat down with Graham and the other candidate in this race, Paul Dance. Well, today, we sat down with Mark Lynch. Well, Mr. Lynch, thank you so much for taking some time with us. I think the big question that a lot of people have would be you're going from appliances to the U.S. Senate. Why run for Senate?
Well, it all started back in 2014. I met some people that are working at the highest level of our national security and consulting in the country with Homeland Security and the government and the military, and got involved in that and became a chairman of their board with the organization that's fighting Islamic infiltration into our country with the terrorists that are pouring across the borders. And I got very interested in that, and we started doing events and educating the public in churches, having 600 and 800 people coming, and also training our local sheriffs and local police and FBI agents and SLED agents about dealing with the Islamic terrorists at the local level. And having those events, people met me and met my family, and they asked me back in 2020 when we were doing a lot of this work if I would run for an office, for a state senate position, and I had never thought about that. And we had a lot of meetings with these people, and they said, you're a strong business guy, you know, because I told them I don't know anything about politics. That's the furthest thing from my mind. And they said, that's why you would be great at it. And so we need an outsider to get in, a guy that has your business sense, common sense, and run. So I did. I almost won in 2020. I lost by 5%. And ever since then, we formed a political activist organization called the United Patriots Alliance, and we've been working on helping the Freedom Caucus in Columbia, stopping bad bills from getting passed, stopping the McMaster's appointment of Dr. Edward Simmer as a health czar in our state. We definitely don't need that. We fought hard and won, and that's still a battle going on. But my wife and I were looking at Lindsey Graham's race coming up, and what would that be, and who could we get to run? And my wife says, I don't know of anybody but you that I trust that could do that, that would hold the line. And we vetted that and started talking about it with people and organizations and consultants, and they said, you would definitely be the one for that. We'll back you 100%. So we jumped in.
Okay, so you were talking about your association with the South Carolina Freedom Caucus. Would you say when people are curious about your political views, where you align, when it comes to the Freedom Caucus, that's a reflection of your beliefs and your policies?
For the most part, for the top guys, and you know, we did a lot of polling, and we did a lot of voter education about our Freedom Caucus people, and we produced the Freedom Index that shows how our elected officials vote according to the Constitution. And we've got 3 or 4 guys that are voting 100% correct. They're voting constitutional every time. And we're showing people that, you know, in our appliance business, we have a lot of customers moving here from other states that got woke, and they left those areas of the country and they moved here because they believe South Carolina's a red state. And we get the Freedom Index out and show them It's not so red, is it? You know, we have Republicans that are voting like Democrats in our state.
Freedom Caucus seems like it continues to kind of have some battles with other Republicans there at the State House. But recently, they had a lot of pushback about a bill last session where it was talking about prosecution towards women who have abortions. And
right.
I know you are pro-life, and there was an article where you said that if is one of those things where if there's a prosecuting someone who's had whose hand killed an unborn child, so be it. Do you believe that women who have abortions should be prosecuted?
Well, it is murder. It's taking another human's life that God created.
So you would like to see women prosecuted?
It's a law. If it's murder, then, you know, when we look at our state records, how many people have been dealt with lawful capital punishment? It's only been like 12 since 2000. Nobody's going to send a mother to the death penalty if she has an abortion, but it's got to come back, and we've got to stop murdering babies inside the womb. We've killed over 63 million of our own in this country. So God's hands are off.
If elected to the U.S. Senate, would you push for a federal ban on abortion?
Absolutely. Yes.
And so when it comes to that bill here at the state level, you would have supported that bill that was brought up
Absolutely.
by members of the Freedom Caucus?
Yep. The leftists and the people that are pro-abortion, they're not pro-life. They're putting that spin on it, and they did that to some of the Freedom Caucus members that, you know, that they're for murdering mothers. That's not what we're for. We're for promoting life. That's in the Declaration and in our Constitution, to support life. That's the first word, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And so if we're killing our own children, that's not a Republican stance. That's against the oath that we take in the creed of the Republican Party.
Something else when it comes to policies and viewpoints, there was a video circulating online where you given a talk. You brought up cocaine, opiate-type drugs need to be legalized to get through
that's a complete farce. That was an AI-generated thing or something where they did a spin on that. We've had a tracker following us from Lindsey Graham that works for one of Karl Rove's organizations, I understand, and they reworded that. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Cocaine. It was asked about cannabis and marijuana type products. Should we legalize that? Absolutely not. Okay. That has to stay a controlled substance, and it's only legal if you go to a doctor and get a prescription for it, because all drugs, opioids, have a purpose. You know, if we're having a surgery, we have to have something for pain, but we don't need to get 80 of them prescribed to us. We need 4 after the surgery, or whatever the prescription should be. But no, that was a made-up AI thing.
And so I think lastly here, when it comes to your policies, President Trump has fully endorsed Senator Graham. So when you're trying to counter that point, saying that you're the right person for the Senate, how can you counter that? Even President Trump himself saying he supports Lindsey Graham.
Right. And he did this a couple of years ago, and then he admitted it on Truth Social that, you know, he admitted it was his fault Lindsey Graham got elected, because he only got elected because he endorsed him. South Carolina knows that Trump's endorsement can be wrong. He's made some bad endorsements. And we still love our president. I love President Trump. He's the right guy to have in office. We're so glad he's back, and we're taking back America. But South Carolinians have spoken on social media and across the country that Trump's endorsement won't save Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. We can't have him again.
Mark Lynch for U.S. Senate, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, after our interview, we did reach out to Graham's campaign for a response to Lynch's claim that they were using artificial intelligence. They told us, quote, the Graham campaign had nothing to do with this very real video.